Well, on front page, we are delighted to bring you this news. Founded by Mukund and Madhav Jha, Emergent has gone from zero to $15 million annual recurring revenue in just 90 days, with 1.5 million apps built by 1 million users across 180 countries. That makes it not only one of the fastest growing AI startups globally, but the fastest ever out of India. While many no-code tools still require users to wrestle with technical jargon, Emergent abstracts the entire software cycle. Describe the app you want and its AI agents design, code, deploy, and even auto-fix the bugs. From a Michigan jewelry chain owner who built an app to price repairs across 50 stores to a UK entrepreneur who actually launched an EV marketplace, Emergent is proving that anyone with an idea can become a builder. Mukund calls it agentic vibe coding, end quote. Software creation where intention, not syntax, is the entry barrier. The platform even manages API keys and back-end infrastructure so apps stay live and up to date without developer babysitting. For Lightspeed's Hemant Mohapatra, the bet is quite clear. Bring the capability bar for coding down to zero so app making becomes, well, a function of intent. End quote. Emergent is now part of a global race where Replete, Cursor, Lovable, and other AI platforms are nudging users to write mini apps. But Emergent stands out by owning the post-development lifecycle, deployment, sharing, bug fixing, and support, all powered by AI. This raise, well, signals something bigger for India's AI ecosystem. From Rocket's $15 million vibe coding round, which, by the way, was extensively covered here on front page, to Emergent's $23 million sprint. The country is emerging as a factory of agentic AI platforms, and global investors are definitely taking notice. Joining us today is Mukund Jha, co-founder and CEO of Emergent Labs. Before starting Emergent, Mukund was CTO at Dunzo, where he scaled one of India's most complex logistics platforms, and his brother Madhav Jha worked at Dropbox in the United States. Together, they spotted the coming wave of AI agents and zero-barrier app creation and, well, went ahead and built Emergent to let anyone on the planet turn ideas into production-ready software. Well, from Dunzo to Emergent, a big welcome to Mukund. How are you doing, Mukund?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Good to have you on the show.
Super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. All right, so Mukund, let's kick things off. Let's start from the start. We moved from building one of India's most complex logistics platforms to actually creating an agentic vibe coding platform along with your brother Madhav, who actually brings a very rich research acumen, who was also, by the way, a founding member of the research team that built and shipped Amazon SageMaker. So the question is, what gaps or pain points convinced you that this was the next 20-year problem worth solving?
Yeah, when I left Dunzo, I came back to US, spent some time with Anthropic, OpenAI folks, and it was pretty clear to us that coding as a space is going to have a vertical takeoff because of the kind of investment the labs were making, and for us it was because we have been sort of programming since age 12, both of us, Madhav and I. It was
and just for the audience, Mukund, you are twins, actually triplets, if I'm not mistaken. Your sister as well.
Yeah, we are triplets.
Nice.
Three of us, and so we've been programming since age 12, and to us it almost felt like a calling that now that AI is here and we can automate software development and bring the masses, it almost felt like probably the most interesting problems to solve right now, and that's why we started working on this.
Interesting little pivot for both you brothers, Mukund. You guys used to love playing video games, and then suddenly you started going into coding. Interesting. I would love for you to maybe shed a little bit of light on that before we move on.
Sorry, come again. I couldn't hear you.
I said, Mukund, if I'm right, both of you brothers loved playing video games, and a very interesting pivot that from there you went into, well, coding at the age of 12. Quite a huge shift, no? Definitely paid off.
Yeah, I think AI as a space is kind of taking off now, right? So it's actually like a great time for us to attempt and build this together. Yes.
Wonderful. So, speed versus depth. I mean, that's a question. Emergent hit about $15 million, as I had mentioned, annual recurring revenue in about 90 days, which was actually stunning growth. So, congratulations on that. And it is stunning growth for any startup. So, the question is, how did you scale so fast without actually compromising on production grade quality? And what were the key product or go to market bets?
Yeah, so I think at the foundation of it is a product that is really, really good and it's working. So we spent the first 6-8 months almost in a research mode building world's best coding agent. There's a benchmark called Bench, which is essentially where all the coding agents are benchmarked. We became world number one on that benchmark multiple times. And at the core, we were able to build like a really, really strong coding agent, which and we have developed our own multi-agent architecture, long-term memory into the agent, and which allows us to really build high-quality production-grade apps. And this essentially has been the foundation of our growth. When people come and try and they're able to get an experience which is not available anywhere else, you can come and just type what you want and you get a production grade highly complex app built out that you can sort of share with your users, deploy, monetize on day one. And once we launched, we partnered with a lot of influencers in the market to really showcase our product to a lot of them. We use TikTok, Instagram, X, and we're able to get a lot of initial traction through this influencer marketing. And since then, I've been growing a lot basis word of mouth. People build things, they share it with other users, and that sort of creates a virality for us to continue growing.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a stickiness to the product, Mukund. Different by design. You just mentioned that. The vibe coding space is actually, well, quite crowded. Replete, Cursor, Lovable, various other platforms. So, how is Emergent structurally different from these players? And what's your moat as the category heats up? And was this a part of the design aspect before you actually got into launching the product? Was this something at the core of both you and your brother's thought pattern before you started building?
Yeah, so I think so. When we entered the space, it is still pretty crowded as a space today, and we are one of the late entrant into the space. But when we were looking at the space, when we were building our coding agents and we were looking at the whole space, we realized that a lot of the other platforms today, they come in and they promise you a production grade app, but they actually just provide you a prototype, which is a front end only app. You can see the pretty UI, but once you start using the app, you realize the app is not working. So we saw that really huge gap in the market where even though all the other platforms were promising that you can actually deploy your app, launch your app, it was a pretty fairly broken experience. You'll have to hop between multiple tools. You can't deploy really well. And that's what we tried to solve with Emergent. It's a unified platform that gives you end-to-end application development platform. You go in, you just prompt what you want, and you talk to the platform just like you would talk to a regular developer. And behind the scene, we have built coding agents which can autonomously build, test, deploy, debug your app just like a human developer would, and that gives us the platform really, really strong power. And what differentiates us today is essentially the quality of the coding agent is really superior than anybody else in the market today. We have built the entire infrastructure for app building ground up, which is both agent friendly, so the agent can actually code, and also very suitable for the app building. And that allows you to build really highly complex apps and ship into production. And we have people, so typically like on our platform, you'll see the complexity of the software is roughly 50,000 line of code, 35,000 line of code. Mostly on other platforms where you get stuck if you go beyond 5,000, 6,000 line of code, and that's what's sort of working for us really well.
And it's working wonderfully well. Just before I move on to the global builders aspect and of course the Indian DNA, which is at the center of this conversation, Any particular apps, Mukund, that were built using Emergent at the get go, which you still remember, and which made you proud, the fact that here was a platform and you were able to provide a solution to so many users, but the one or two maybe that still kind of bring a smile to your face.
Yeah, I mean, every day I meet users who are building things that I didn't believe was possible on Emergent, and really exciting to see that. I mean, a few days back I was talking to a user who runs a gardening service, and they were able to build this entire gardening app where they have a user app, they have an admin app, they have a gardener app which has real-time tracking, which has job allocation, and they were able to build this whole entire SaaS product on their own, and with zero coding background. This is a person who is a business person and who was able to build this app, and they had actually gone to a dev shop to get a quote, and they got $100,000 quote to just
Wow.
build the first version of the app, and they were able to build it on Emergent, and it's actually live with their gardeners, with their users using
Nice.
that. The other person I was talking to a few days back, they're building an AI CRM app on a platform. He's an entrepreneur, and they're trying to launch an AI first CRM, and they built the entire platform completely on Emergent, and roughly like almost all of the half of the apps on the platform today are AI apps. A lot of people are using us to build AI native experiences, which is another place where Emergent is really good at, and it's really heartening to see the kind of ideas people have on the platform today.
Yeah, and the fact that you're at the center of it all must be actually making you feel really proud. So basically, with about 1.5 million apps built across 180 countries, wow, that's a staggering number, and I'm only hoping that it is going to keep growing. So how do you maintain a strong Indian identity while scaling a true global builder community?
Yeah, and we're growing pretty fast. I think now we are closer to about 2 million apps, 1.5 million people on the platform, and going pretty rapidly. And of course, like I think we have a global DNA. Like we have an office in SF and Bangalore, and of course, like a lot of our roots are in India. Most of our team is from India. We have assembled one of the best AI teams in the world, mostly top IT rankers, under 50 IT rankers, national Olympiad winners,
Nice.
chess champions, repeat founders. So I think at the core, like we have that identity set with us.
So, Mukund, the agentic future. Your multi-agent system actually doesn't just generate code, it tests, it debugs, and deploys, like you've mentioned. How far can this agentic approach go in replacing the traditional software development lifecycle?
Yeah, so I mean, our core thesis in building Emergent has been that if you want to take an idea to a production grade app, you will have to embed all of the software engineering best practices. So imagine, world's best software engineering team, and
Hmm.
everything that they do on a day-to-day basis will have to embed that into our platform. And that's why we have built this multi-agent system where different agents can come in at different point of time. For example, there's an agent which will write the code, then there is a code review agent which will come and review your code, then there's a testing agent which will come and autonomously test your entire app, and find bugs and debug them and solve them. And that's why the system is working really well, where you almost have your own dev team on cloud, which sort of builds you the entire app. And that's why we're able to take users to the finish line, where they're able to not only just build but deploy their app in production, get usage, monetize their app today. And I mean that the coding agent is sort of one of our secret sauce, which allows us to build really complex
Sure.
apps.
Mukund, you of course made it sound so simple, to be honest, when you just described the entire flow. But when the building actually started, when you were constantly brainstorming with the team, your brother, what were the areas which you felt needed immediate attention? Because I remember reading somewhere that you believe in bringing an engineering solution, and that's the DNA at Emergent, in solving the biggest problems. And if you can solve the biggest problem, then you can actually go ahead and solve the others quite easily. Is that the way that you went about the entire method?
Yeah, I mean, we had a long journey coming here, almost 6-8 months. We were in research mode, and our focus was always on solving the actual problem for the user, and picking up what are the hard problems and going after that. General sort of inclination in the team is that what are the hard problems, what are the problems that will actually move the needle for a user, and how do we sort of go after them. And generally, like, we ship really fast. It's a pretty small team, 14 people engineering team, but we ship really fast, and that allows us to iterate on multiple ideas in parallel and get the good ideas out. And the first sort of 6 months of our journey, we were largely in stealth, in research mode,
Sure.
and that allowed us to really go deep into AI and really build things, and where we much ahead of everybody else in the space in terms of understanding of the problem, in terms of experimentation, and that really is the ethos within the company, where we take on a really hard problem and go after it really fast.
Well, hence the flow, like you just mentioned shortly, a short while back. The next one, of course, is the next horizon, the app economy. Beyond building apps, what's actually the roadmap to help creators discover users, Mukund, and monetize their work and turn Emergent into a true marketplace?
Yeah, we're thinking about it. I think it's slightly early, but it's in the roadmap for us, where we also want to become a distribution channel for builders who are building their app. We already have a lot of users on the platform, and we are thinking, how do we sort of make it easy for them to discover apps built on the platform. And it's still early days, so we'll have to see how do we sort of get that to users. But one of the reasons that we have built our own sort of marketing engine, and we have automated large parts of marketing internally, and we want to productize that and provide it to our users as well, so they can use these channels to scale up their distribution. We're also going to be launching agents very soon, so people would be able to not only
Nice.
just build apps but also agents on the platform. That's coming really soon.
Nice.
I think the next few months are super exciting. I saw Sonnet 4.5 launch we're talking about. We just launched that
Yep.
yesterday,
Yep.
and so I think it's really exciting time to be building in AI, and lots to come over the coming months.
All right. Mukund, you had actually mentioned this, and the fact that as far as your focus is fairly laser sharp when it comes down to how many apps are being built on Emergent which actually have usage. And well, since it is the North Star, these are your words, of vibe coding. Also, what have been the value additions made or planned for the end user experience, which actually Emergent prides itself on? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct. I mean, our focus is the end user usage, that how many people are actually getting value from the app. And what we have seen so far is that when we started, the even at a lower base, a lot of people were deploying apps with us. Today, that number, the percentage has doubled. And while we are continuing to grow, so we have been able to improve the platform, where almost double of what early days used to be in terms of deployment. And we have power users who are building very serious launchable apps. There, the deployment percentage is even higher. Almost 2/3 of them actually deploy with us today. So that's sort of really our focus area on how do we get the user to the end value, where they can deploy these apps, they can get usage, they can really monetize these apps, and that's sort of been our focus. In terms of what innovation we have done, I think largely, like, our focus has been that how do we bridge the gap between a developer and a non-developer. So imagine when you're chatting with the I mean, just to give you feedback, like, if let's say you see an error on the screen, a developer would give a very different feedback. For example,
Sure.
they will paste an error log, or they'll say, hey, this is the error. A non-developer would just say, hey, I can't see the app, or I can't log in. And how
Sure.
do we sort of decipher that and make it work autonomously behind the scene is what we have sort of innovated on. And what we have done is taken away a lot of the effort that a person has to do to build the software, because we autonomously test things, debug things, and that's been sort of the core innovation in the product today.
Also, the fact that, I mean, like I'd mentioned a while back, Mukund, the fact that the product has stickiness, and also that you're giving it the entire ecosystem, from the debugging aspect to the support after the app has been launched. I think that is a huge shot in the arm for the users, in terms of the fact that they want to be with Emergent because they're not left high and dry post them using it and actually having taken the app.
True. I mean, our goal is to take the user to the finish line.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I was saying our goal is to take the user to the finish line so they can actually build and monetize whatever they've built. And that's what we are really focused on today.
Fair enough. All right. So, Mukund, finally, you, of course, are expanding and you're doing so very aggressively. And kudos to that. As far as hiring in India is concerned, I would love for you to maybe shine the light on that and tell us who are the probable people who could be a part of Emergent. And if you are hiring in India, how is it looking?
Yeah, we are hiring across the board, and I mean, generally, we are trying to bring on the smartest people who are excited about building in AI. We are fairly role agnostic right now. Obviously, we're hiring on the engineering side, product side, design side, also on the business and growth and marketing side, and generally looking for people who are really excited about building in AI, who want to experiment, and people who are at the top of their field and creative in what they're problem solving.
Nice.
And people can reach out to me on LinkedIn or email us. But we are hiring across the board, both in Bangalore and SF office today.
Which is very encouraging. Mukund, the final message that you'd probably like to give to, well, the potential people who could be a part of Emergent, or for that matter, the entire founder startup ecosystem here in India, and anybody else that you might want to go ahead and give a shout out to.
Yeah, I mean, I would just encourage everybody to go and try Emergent. I think it's one of the best product out there to convert your idea into an app, and I think it's really a great time for people to jump into AI. And with tools like ours, we make it really easy for people to understand what's happening. And I think getting early today is very advantageous because it's a new field, it's growing, and anybody who gets in early will have a really strong advantage on building, because the next 2 decades is going to be about AI and how AI changes our life, and getting in early would be really exciting. So would love everybody to try Emergent and build their favorite app.
And well, of course, if you all are listening, as Mukund had mentioned, they are hiring across the board. So you can reach out to Mukund directly on his LinkedIn. Mukund, a true pleasure having you with us on Front Page. And we all from AIM wish you all of the best, and your brother and your sister, the triplets who are, of course, growing very aggressively. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically India's AI moment. This raise actually signals something bigger for India's AI ecosystem. From Rocket's $15 million vibe coding round to Emergent's $23 million sprint to 1 million plus builders, 1.5 million plus apps across 180 countries, and $15 million annual recurring revenue in record time. The country is fast becoming a factory of agentic AI platforms, and global investors are taking notice. But the real story isn't just the capital, it's the capability. Emergent isn't about spinning out flashy prototypes. It's actually about shipping production-ready apps, back-end, front-end database deployment, straight from a conversation. 10 minutes of chat can turn a dreamer into a builder, and a builder into a company. And what a time to be a developer.